So this is a very common question I get asked a lot, which is the difference between Cypionate and Enanthate. What's the difference? Which one's better? Which one do I take? Now, hopefully, I will break this down for you the best way I know how, and that is with personal experience. When I took Cyp in the past, I just felt a little bit more bloated, a little bit more puffier on the thing. That was it. When I took Enanthate, and I still am on Enanthate, I just feel it's a little bit cleaner, it's a little bit less water retention, and the estrogen is just easier to control. Now, I might be wrong, it might be different for everybody, but that's just personally how I felt on it. Now, what is the actual difference between Cypionate and Enanthate? Not much, really. The Cypionate, I believe, is a longer acting ester by ever so slightly. Like, for example, I think if Enanthate is in your system for like 15 days, I think Cypionate is probably in your system for 17 days. That's it. That's the only difference. There's not much difference. I think it's vice versa. I don't know. Who cares? Point is this. If you took 100 guys and you put them on Enanthate for 1 month, then you switched it and you put them on Cypionate for 1 month. Or 6 months at a time, whatever. However you want to feel free to do your research. Nothing would change. They would not know that they've switched compounds. I wouldn't have even been able to know I switched compounds. I am just saying that when I took Enanthate, it was better. Cypionate for me wasn't as good because maybe when I was taking Cypionate, other shit was going on. And I just never went back to Cypionate. Now, one thing I do know. If you are from the US or you're from other countries outside the UK and EU, then Cypionate will be more readily available to you through a pharmaceutical means. In America, they very commonly prescribe you Cypionate as TRT. I don't know much about Australia, but one thing I know about the UK is it's easier to get imported in illegally on the black market Enanthate. Yes, Cypionate does come into the UK as well, and I have seen it, but I have seen more Enanthate. There's Bayer Enanthate, there's Aburian Enanthate, which is the two that I use. Have I got a box here to show you? No, I haven't. But if I did, I would have shown you. You know, you guys know how it is. So there you have it, guys. It's a very, very simple video. There's not much difference in it. Take whichever you can get hold of. Take whichever one you can get hold of from a legitimate source, from a pharmacy or from a proper, plug. You know what I'm trying to say. But overall, you're not going to see much difference. You're not going to see much benefit from taking either or. All I do know is Americans, Cypionate, EU, Enanthate. That's the only difference that is. And I don't give a shit what any other science guy out there on the internet is going to tell you and sell you. It's bullshit. The reality of it is, do a quick Google search. What is the difference between Enanthate and Cypionate? Not much. Very simple. Use the one that is more readily available to you and the one that is least faked. One thing I will say though, do not ever use any 10 ml vials of Cypionate or any 10 ml vials of Enanthate. If you're going to use it, make sure they are snap cap. Now, I will just also add additional thing to this as well. If you do get Enanthate or Cypionate in a 10 ml, make sure they are pharmaceutical grade directly from your doctor. And I don't mean the backstreet doctor or the guy at your gym who calls himself doctor. I mean a professional, a medical professional with the initials DR in front of his name. If he is not giving you the 10 ml vial, then I can almost guarantee you out there in the real world, it's 1 ml ampules only. That's it. Not no blends. Not Test 300, not Cypionate 350, not Test 400, none of this bullshit. It's 250 milligram of testosterone in 1 ampule. That's the one you should be using. So hopefully this cleared up a lot of confusion for most guys. Cyp, Enanthate, doesn't really matter. Hopefully this gives you some value. Comment down below, like, and please subscribe.